Okay, so I don't know what we're gonna do today. Stella Subnautica. This is, I think, from a long time ago. Back on Chit After this, I'll watch some videos. I think I've never seen any of those. It's crazy. Seems like I play this sometimes. It's dinosaur. Question. It's whale of the dinosaurs. Yo, get off me, bro. Who you think you are? It's W.
Caution. Continued degradation of the Aurora's drive core may result in a quantum detonation. Continuing to monitor. Silver-based wiring kits are an essential component of many habitat modules. 30 seconds. Self-scan complete. Bacterial infection in your system is progressing, detecting skin irritation and immune system response. Further data required to identify bacterial strain.
Hold on, chat. I'll be right back. Okay, chat. So, I got a second. Chat. I think we're going to do something. Uh, 16. watch some stupid videos. Okay, chat. We're gonna watch Sunny D too. We'll watch this.
Andre the Giant's size gave him everything. Andre the Giant's size gave him everything.
The largest and highest paid and best known wrestler in the entire world.
Once being listed by the Guinness Book of Records as the highest paid wrestler ever. These same genetics, however, made his life a living hell, with Andre famously stating, "I would give much money to be able to spend 1 day per week as a man of regular size." When he was born, Andre already weighed 13 pounds or 6.
Dang! How? I thought you were supposed to weigh like 2 pounds.
Kilos, which is almost double the average male baby, weighing 3.3 kilos or 7.5 pounds.
My bad. Didn't know it was 7.5.
Growing up, Andre played soccer, with his childhood friends stating he used to be the goalie, but the ball would never go in because he was so big. By the age of
That's crazy.
12, Andre was 6'3"
6'3" at 12.
and 240 pounds or 108 kilos.
As I started going to school, I was bigger than all the kids.
He was too big to fit on the local school bus, and his family didn't have the money to buy a car that could deal with his weight. As a result, Andre left school to work on a farm, where one day a friend of the farm's owner drove slowly past the field in a Rolls Royce.
Flex. He's flexing.
"I will own such a car as that someday," Andre said quietly. "Stop dreaming and start raking," his father replied. "You are a big boy, but that dream is too big even for you."
I said to my dad, someday I will get a car like this. And he said, quit dreaming and keep walking.
According to his brother, Andre did the farm work of 3 different men and would drive an unregistered car as the cops wouldn't dare to stop him. When he tried to join the military,
Andre was deemed unfit for service as there were no shoes big enough, bunks long enough, or trenches deep enough to accommodate him.
yet these
That's kinda crazy. Bill couldn't even join the military.
same issues made him a wrestling sensation. He'd officially become Andre the Giant, a famous televised wrestler, but more notably had grown so much, his own parents didn't recognize him when he came back home.
My parents, they was a big fan of me, they saw me on TV, but they don't know.
Your parents were a fan and they didn't know it was you?
No, because I changed my name.
At over 7 foot tall and 500 pounds or 227 kilos, Andre saw a doctor to figure out why he'd grown so much. Acromegaly was the diagnosis.
That's interesting.
A rare 1 in 12,000 brain tumor, causing the body to produce excessive growth hormone. It leads to extra large hands, feet and fingers, as well as a bigger jaw, nose, lips and tongue. According to Ripley's Believe It or Not, his fingers were so big around that the ring he wore had an opening that could easily fit a silver dollar, which is 38.1 mil. To put the size into perspective, the average man's finger is around 10 to 11 mil around. This could be seen in interviews like this.
This is his ring, and I kid you not, I can get all 3 fingers in that ring.
With people on Reddit adding, favorite fact is that Andre was so large, he could push a hard-boiled egg through his wedding ring. My wife met him once and instead of a handshake, she said she could only shake one of his fingers. These elements made him so unique that when doctors offered to remove his tumor, Andre bluntly refused.
He decided that he didn't want treatment at that time because he thought it would interfere with his career as a wrestler.
He'd state, if this is the size that God wanted me to be, I'm going to be this size.
I use what God gave me. I'm not supernatural, I just myself. So what God gave me, I use it to make a living.
However, this gave him a short life expectancy.
The commissioned doctors at Madison Square Garden told me he's going to be lucky to live to be 40.
And meant he'd keep on growing until the day he'd die. By the time he'd joined the WWE, Andre had reached 7'4", peaking at 560 pounds or 225 kilos.
What size boot is that, Andre?
It's 22, size 22.
Take a look at that along my size 9.
This made him the most successful wrestler ever.
Without a doubt, Andre was the most famous wrestler in the world.
Yet it also continued to make his life harder.
It's difficult everywhere I go. They don't build anything for big people. They build everything for blind people, for crippled people, for some other people, but not for big people.
Andre was constantly visiting new cities.
The nature of your job, you're traveling all the time, aren't you? Like 320 nights a year.
Yes.
Which came with its own set of challenges.
Hotel beds, are they a problem?
I tried to find a hotel where they got a king-size bed. The worst is when I go in Japan, all those cars are so small.
Sure.
Even in a hotel, I can go through the door, I can go to the bathroom, everything is so small.
Andre was too large to fit inside most cars.
When I'm traveling with a car, I need 2 cars.
That's right. You can't even get in it.
There's nowhere for the giant to live anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you can put 1 car in each foot.
Taking a taxi wasn't a better alternative.
Funny story, one time we couldn't get a taxi because he was so big.
And when they finally got one, Andre was charged extra.
We asked him how much he is, and we see the counter, he charges double. So you're a big guy, you have to pay double.
It seems that flying was Andre's only option, where he'd have to book the entire exit row. However, thankfully, he was able to fix this problem.
What about plane travel? Does that get old after a while? Awful?
I go in first class, but I don't drink mine with it.
Despite this costing an absolute fortune,
I'm traveling so much. Last year I bought for $67,000 just an airplane ticket.
there was still another even bigger flying problem. Andre couldn't fit inside the toilet. He therefore had to relieve himself prior to boarding.
Andre would always time it so that he would take a dump before, he went to the airport.
But in one notable instance, he forgot to go beforehand.
He's up in first class and he tells them, I gotta go. And they're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
The onboard solution wasn't exactly glamorous.
He would relieve himself into a bucket and then they bring it in and dump it into the toilet.
But in retrospect, the story's pretty funny.
The smell that started coming out, there was people falling out of their seats almost into the aisles. You can
could not have stunk that badly.
And crying, screaming.
Sadly, this didn't only apply to planes.
Where does he shit?
In the bathtub.
No.
Yeah, there's no toilet gonna take his ass.
And with monumental bells came monumental farts.
It sounded like, like a deep roar kind of like thing. It would rumble.
On the set of Princess Bride, this actually halted production.
He lets out the most monumental fart. The whole plywood set was shaking, and the sound...
That's crazy.
One guy lifted his headphones off his ears and was doing that, and it went on for, somebody timed it was 16 seconds.
While Andre's former wrestling opponents thought the wind lasted even longer.
And I could feel my fucking shoulder just vibrate like. You know how long a giant can fart? How long? About 40 seconds.
Andre was so different to everybody else, it got to the point of public ridicule. Hulk Hogan explained when we'd walk through the airports, if he got ahead of me, I'd hear all the unkind things that people would say. Oh my God, look at that guy. It would just break my heart.
They perceived him as a freak of nature, and that hurt Andre more than anything. This guy was very sensitive. Boss, sometimes they laugh at me, they point at me. It hurts my feelings. You never think...
Okay, he does kind of look like Peter Griffin at that moment.
Boss, sometimes they laugh at me, they point...
But, I don't think Family Guy was a thing back in this day, so...
Point at me, it hurts my feelings. You never think a guy like that would cry? but he would cry.
Andre stated in an interview, "I would give much money to be able to spend 1 day per week as a man of regular size. I would shop and I would go to the cinema and drive around in a sports car and walk down Fifth Avenue and stare at the other people for a change. Disguising himself in public simply wasn't possible."
Muhammad Ali could put on a trench coat and a ball cap. Andre the Giant couldn't hide in the backseat of a car.
Instead opting to numb himself completely.
He never, ever quit drinking. He drank from the time he got up to the time he went to bed. If he could figure out a way, he'd just done it in his sleep.
While Andre's drinking feats are often highly romanticized, there's no denying he had a serious problem.
He started drinking about 9 o'clock in the morning. He drank like, I'm not exaggerating, like 20 bottles of new Beaujolais.
Doing so to cope with his difficult life.
He drank because he was in pain. His spine and his neck and his knees gave him a lot of trouble.
He drinks 6 bottles of wine before every wrestling match, with Jake the Snake explaining that Andre once drank 48 beers in a single car trip.
He drank 2 cases of beer and did not have to piss. How can you do that?
This was nothing compared to a different night.
Is it true that you in one sitting drank 117 beers?
Yes.
Were you drunk at the end of that?
I don't remember. I think I passed out.
With Andre's unofficial record being 156 beers in one sitting, which fellow wrestlers Dusty Rhodes and Michael Hayes confirmed. However, this only added extra weight onto his body.
I myself saw him almost every night drink 7,000 calories worth of alcohol.
Which seemed to be the primary motive for why he eventually quit.
But you don't drink anymore?
Not since 14 months ago I quit.
You feel better for not drinking?
Yeah, because when I was drinking beer, I used to weigh 560 pounds.
And you've trimmed down now to?
Right now, I'm 470.
This led to the infamous Andre the Giant vs Hulk Hogan, after which his career was basically over. When he next came to a match, Andre was using crutches, showing the decline of his physical health. He'd retired to a ranch in North Carolina until he flew back to France for his father's funeral. He'd take this photo after the ceremony, without realizing that 3 days later, Andre himself would die of a heart attack.
I'd like to announce the death of one of my favorite wrestlers and one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. He died this week in Paris, France, after going home to his father's funeral.
His body was too large to fit in any French crematorium, and as a result he was shipped back to the USA. His ashes weighed 17 pounds or almost 8 kilos, being just another reason he's remembered as a legend.
That's a little crazy. How Scientology destroyed a popular skateboarding channel.
Braille Skateboarding paid his employees roughly $20 per hour.
We're basically minimum wage employees.
But donated over $1 million to the Church of Scientology. He'd gone to spend so much time with the strange organization that Braille was neglected until it died completely, in what is quite possibly YouTube's strangest ever downfall. The channel's owned by Aaron Cairo, a pro skateboarder from San Francisco.
My name's Aaron Cairo, and I run this channel, Braille Skateboarding.
He started Braille Skateboarding just 12 days after YouTube's launch, uploading the clips that he'd used to gain his sponsors. But when a simple video titled "How to Push on a Skateboard" gained more views than every other upload, Aaron Cairo saw an opportunity. He'd upload How to Ollie, then How to Nose Manual. This led to How to Pop Shove, and most notably How to Kickflip, each gaining massive view counts for the early days of YouTube. Braille made tutorials on every possible trick, giving the channel purpose and an obvious direction to help everyone learn how to skateboard.
The whole purpose of Braille Skateboarding to teach you guys to progress on your boards so you're having more fun on your boards.
These videos carried the channel to over 200,000 subscribers, but as Aaron Cairo became more known, so did another completely unrelated video. I am a Scientologist, Aaron Skateboarder.
My name is Aaron, I'm a skateboarder, and I'm also a Scientologist.
During a vulnerable
That's what you don't do.
Period in Aaron's life, Scientology offered him a free personality test.
And on my personality test, my communication was really low. And then they suggested you should do a communication course.
Aaron took the course and saw significant improvement.
And it totally helped me communicate. It helped me a lot. And from that point forward, I just had this ability to communicate. It helped me a lot.
Getting him hooked on the Church of Scientology.
So then I did more courses from there and learned more. And
he'd argue it helped him improve his skateboarding.
The thing that happened before Scientology and after was I was learning tricks a lot easier. Things were just coming to me a lot easier with less effort.
And that Scientology gave him his career.
And now I built an entire career on communicating.
Yet all of his success could have easily been explained by simple repetition, practice, and week-on-week improvement. Between 2013 and 2014, repetition
communicating.
Yet all of his success could have easily been explained by simple repetition, practice, and week-on-week improvement. Between 2013 and 2014, he was uploading twice a day every day, which guaranteed improvement regardless of Scientology.
We now have 400,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal.
With the channel growing rapidly, Aaron hired Lance Silbar, who also happened to be a Scientologist himself. Lance became Braille's main filmer and editor, as well as the channel's guinea pig who was learning how to skate. Videos of Aaron teaching Lance basic tricks did surprisingly well despite their simplicity, as skaters could watch and learn something new themselves. This seemed to tell Aaron that he should hire more skaters, and would therefore introduce Gabe Cruz, who'd suggest a slightly unconventional upload, a game of skate but on Walmart boards. Aaron thought the video would make him a joke amongst pro skaters, but it rather did the opposite as everybody loved it. They'd therefore do the same thing with mini boards and longboards, turning it into a series called Stupid Skate, playing the game with crazy modified skateboards. There was a skateboard with suspension, one with 10 sets of trucks, and one you could ride on either side. It seemed the crazier the board, the more views they'd gain, leading things to be taken to the extreme.
We're gonna make a new series and it's gonna be called Skate Everything. And we get random things and we attach skateboard trucks and wheels to it and then we skate on it.
They planned on putting wheels on random different items, beginning with a skinny plank of wood, then upgrading to a sharp square of metal. However, by only the third episode, Aaron was skating an iPad, which was simply too brutal for people not to click.
I'm gonna feel so bad to drill a hole in this iPad. I wanna make this video, it's all Lance's fault. Blame Lance.
When the video attracted a whole new audience and gained 3 million views in under a month, Aaron knew he'd found the perfect series. He'd repeat the idea with a MacBook, then a keyboard, then with a flat screen TV. When they ran out of electronics, they'd skate a full-size bedroom door, a surfboard, and a skate shoe, generating so much channel interest.
At least the surfboard wasn't as bad. Cause like you basically skate on it in water, so.
They'd gain almost 600,000 subscribers over a 2-month period in 2016.
You guys are the best, the absolute best.
Because we just hit 3 million subscribers.
In fact, Braille skateboarding became so popular, they'd build their own skate park called Braille House, which acted as their own personal filming studio. I found myself running an actual company, says Cairo, who had 3 full-time professionals running the video editing, merchandising, and finance departments. He'd also hire another 3 on-screen skaters, Fetty Potter, Carlos Lastra, and Nigel Jones. But this wasn't only where Braille's money went. Between 2015 and 2017, Aaron Cairo did 16 Scientology courses, many of which were incredibly expensive.
16.
The L10 Rundown, for example, has an estimated cost of roughly $72,000.
You spent $72,000 on a course.
And this doesn't include the L11 and L12, both of which Aaron completed at the same time. Additionally, Aaron completed something called OT3, which according to Reddit, the running tally to complete OT3 would be $278,000. This
Why?
ignores that he eventually went up to OT6, presumably costing even more, yet Aaron believed that all of this was worth it. An article on his training wrote, L10 was a particularly revelatory experience for him. The gains and abilities are so high, I could not even dream they would be available. My space is so big and so clean, and my flows are wide open. I got rid of masses that had been in my space for trillions of years. I truly uncovered my basic goodness and rightness as a being. He's still having daily cognitions directly related to L10, and his online traction has seen a noticeable uptick, which to be fair was certainly true. The channel was
Interesting. Nerf gun skateboard. How?
gaining so many views, and all of the members were having so much fun that the massive amounts being spent on Scientology simply weren't a major concern. They'd continue to ride different exotic skateboards and allow the audience to send in their own, resulting in some of the channel's highest viewed videos. The Lego skateboard gained 8 million views, the heaviest skateboards gained 11 million,
Chain, concrete, and steel.
whilst the glass board with glass wheels gained 28 million
I know that broke.
views, but the trend of wacky skateboards was slowly getting stale. Viewers knew what to expect in every single upload, and after over 200 episodes, each variation was becoming less interesting. To make matters worse, at around the same time, Lance announced that he'd be leaving, which added to the channel's slow viewership decline. In Dumb Data's video about Braille, it's shown that from 2016 to 2019, Braille's views fell by almost 60%, at which
Wow. You went from 465 million to 198.
which point things began to get weird. At this point, Aaron's involvement in Scientology wasn't super mainstream until an article was published titled "The Donors Keeping Scientology Afloat in 2019," with Aaron Cairo being pictured at the top. It explained that he'd earned what's called gold meritorious, given to people who donated more than $1 million to Scientology. On a podcast, Aaron tried to play this down.
Don't you need to give the church a certain amount of money each year to be a part, or
No.
you don't have to give them any money?
No. Courses cost a fee. So the communication course that I did was $100. And the books are like range from $25 to like $30.
But his extensive involvement was documented everywhere. He'd appear in yet another Scientology promo video, for which he was heavily roasted in the comments beneath. But negative
Big yikes, this Ant Chief. This Ant Chief. What is
audience feedback didn't change his feelings.
Somebody said something bad about that, so I'm just gonna stop. Like, no way.
And to be honest, again at this point, his involvement in Scientology wasn't really hurting anyone. However, this was about to change. In January 2020, Braille uploaded a video titled "I Need Help," requesting that viewers donate to him to save his hometown skate park.
Anything that you guys can give would be incredible. We're trying to raise $200,000. Anything that you can give would be so amazing.
This led to videos such as Aaron Cairo gives Scientology $750,000, but begs fans for donations, whilst people on Reddit wrote, maybe just funnel the massive donations made to Scientology rather than using your viewer base of children to recreate your park. Comments read, did he have this much money when they had Carlos sleeping in the warehouse like a homeless person, leading people to make a realization? I heard that most of the profits of Braille go to donations to Scientology instead of to the skaters that make it what it is. The skaters were running all the brand deals whilst barely being paid.
It's like you want us to be the face saying, hey, buy this product, do this thing. And then like we gain nothing from the brand deal. Like we have sponsors of our own as well. We have sponsors that conflict with this brand deal that you're gonna try to make us go and do on our own. And we are getting nothing but our normal low wage.
And even built ramps for the channel without compensation.
They asked me to build it and I built it the day of. From scratch. And they didn't even drop a penny.
Imagine working for someone, carrying the channel for $20 an hour. Then you hear that your boss donated $1 million to Scientology.
I'll quit. Actually, I'm driving my car into the building.
Scientology. In the process, Fetty and Carlos, two of Braille's most beloved members, left the team under sketchy circumstances. Nigel also announced that he'd be leaving, but would still be in the videos, just not as an employee. He'd later explain the shocking reason for this.
I left because I was making more off of unemployment than I was filming full-time.
With pay rises being few and far between.
How many raises did you get?
In 10 years, one.
But in case conditions couldn't get any worse for the skaters, they somehow still did. As in 2021, Aaron came to the team with another wild announcement.
He goes, in 1 week from now, I'm going to business school for 5 months and I'll be back. And then we're like, whoa, like what the?
As a result, Gabe became responsible for running Braille completely, as Aaron disappeared to focus on business school.
2 months passed. No one has talked to Aaron at all. It's not like he's on the phone going, hey guys, how's it going? Oh, the videos have been good. Like, oh, you're doing really good. Nothing. It was just silence, like legit, like silence.
This disappearance lasted longer than expected.
The 5 months, it ends up being like, I want to say like 8 or 9 months. Then he goes away again. He's like, oh, I gotta go back. I didn't finish. It was not long, and then he was gone for again, like I want to say like 4 or 5 months, maybe even more. Then he'd come back for like 1 week or something. Then he was gone again, and I want to say the total time was about like 2 years, I think.
After 2 whole years of barely being on the channel, Aaron returned with a video titled I'm Sorry, initially acknowledging his disappearance.
I've been absent from the videos. I know you guys know that. I'm back. We're getting back on track.
Before again claiming to be learning about business.
I did take some time for myself, and I did learn as much as I could about business.
However, conveniently upon his return, another video was gaining some traction. Aaron Cairo is the new leader of Scientology in San Francisco. Aaron had joined Scientology's executive team, as the time he'd supposedly spent in business school was actually him just completing more Scientology coursework. This, in combination with his absence, put immense pressure on everyone else at Braille.
And I'm sorry for being gone for so long. I know it's really hard on my team here.
So much so that they all began to quit.
He emerged as the leader of Scientology SF. In that time, this guy started quitting. Mowgli, Uzi, JD. And then when Gabe was the final straw.
As mentioned, this included Gabe, who at this point was completely running everything.
For the past 7 years, I've been doing all the behind the scenes stuff for the main Braille YouTube channel.
Comments read, well, there goes the guy that's been carrying this channel for years.
Honestly, Gabe was running the channel. Gabe was doing like literally 99.9% of the channel.
Forcing Aaron to take back over, who by this point seemed to be completely clueless.
Now we no longer have Gabe to plan, film, and make all those videos. The content is definitely going to be changing. And what you're gonna get, I actually have no idea. But it's gonna go back to the roots of this company, teaching tutorials. Yes, we are gonna make weird boards, weird videos.
This was far from an innovative strategy, with the lack of fresh skilled content being obvious to all.
You look at the videos now, you look at the thumbnails now, you look at the ideas now. Terrible, right? On Braille's channel. Much worse than when we and Gabe were doing it. And that truly shows how much work we were doing.
This dropped the channel's views to just a couple mil per month, forcing Aaron to destroy their skate park.
I was trying to negotiate with the landlords to get a break on the rent. This is a huge overhead. It's tons of money to have a warehouse, and we just could not come to an agreement. And then I got a letter from their lawyer that basically just said, you have got to be out by July 5th.
Unsurprisingly, the audience offered no sympathy. That $750,000 you spent to go up in a spaceship to heaven could have been spent better, but in true Braille fashion, it was even worse than this. Ricky Glazer, one of the last remaining members, wasn't even told that the skate park was being destroyed.
I knew Braille was struggling, but man, I didn't know the park was literally getting destroyed right now. No one told Rick anything. And it's like, man, I really would have loved to know that, get one last sesh. Like, I poured all this blood, sweat, and tears literally into that place.
He was saddened by the sight of everything being discarded, which somehow offended Aaron to such an extent that Ricky was promptly fired.
Braille Skateboarding and Aaron Cairo both blocked me, Ricky Glazer, on Instagram.
Nigel decided to leave himself.
I will no longer be at Braille doing videos. Won't be doing lessons with them anymore, obviously, because there is no location.
Pissed off by Braille's blatant lack of care.
No good advice session, no nothing. 10 years of your life.
you.
I haven't even gotten like a thank you for all of the years of dedicating myself to the channel.
Aaron responded with a video of his own, claiming he tried to save the skate park.
You guys must know that I did everything I could to save the Braille house. I literally took out a loan on my house.
But with over 50,000 dislikes, it seems he missed the point completely. Aaron, no one is worried about the warehouse. They're worried about the crew you ghosted. Womp womp, you screwed the crew and that's who we cared about.
He's legit more upset about what he did to the building than what he did to all the people that made it.
He is legit more upset about what he did to the building than what he did to all of the people that made it what it was. Without a skate park or skate crew, the state of Braille is worse than ever. Aaron recently uploaded a video titled "Thank You," just reading positive comments from 1 year prior, seemingly to convince himself to keep uploading videos.
I continue going because of comments like this. I absolutely love this.
Braille's viewership has fallen to roughly 5k per upload. Every comment section is filled with negativity, which Aaron tries his hardest to defend himself against. There are 9 MrBeast crew members who have either been publicly fired or have disappeared without explanation, and we're going to talk about all of them, beginning with Matt Turner, who had one of the more controversial endings to his time working with MrBeast. Matt Turner was initially hired as an editor for MrBeast back in 2018, yet only 5 months after getting hired, Matt would upload a video to his personal channel titled "Why I Quit Working for MrBeast," in which he'd explained that he was no longer on the team. Matt would then go on to praise MrBeast, talking about how much he enjoyed the job.
This was a dream job for so long. Going to work was a blast each and every day. MrBeast paid for my rent every month when I lived in North Carolina. Me and MrBeast, I still consider friends. Never got in any fights. No one did anything wrong in this situation. If you're watching this, MrBeast, I love you, bro.
However, despite ending his message by stating that he loved MrBeast, approximately 1 year and 2 months later, Matt Turner would take to Twitter stating the following: "I'm not going to make a video about my time editing for MrBeast, but I will say that it was the most mentally draining time of my life. I was yelled at, bullied, and called replaceable by MrBeast every day. Being in tears and having mental breakdowns day after day is difficult, and after a while it became too much. After every editing mistake I made, I was made to feel like an absolute idiot." So that's a summary of almost every day on the team. That's what it was like to work for MrBeast, and that is why I don't work there now. While Matt might have thought that his MrBeast call out would command a bunch of respect and sympathy,
That's so much cap. How are you gonna say you love him and then say that?
the opposite of this happened, and everyone instead began to stick up for MrBeast. I think people are jumping to conclusions with this MrBeast stuff. If this editor really was harassed like that, wouldn't he have spoken up sooner? He's one of the most famous YouTubers, so it would have been easy to start accusing him. I think the bullying is just over-exaggerated. So basically, MrBeast's editor is a kid who hasn't experienced the real working world, so throws a tantrum and starts slamming MrBeast with unsupported allegations the moment it gets tough. Kids these days. Bruh, this was 1 year ago, why are you coming at him now? Keemstar would point out the most obvious flaw with Matt's Twitter thread.
I just find it very strange that he's coming out saying all this negative stuff about MrBeast when a year ago, when he actually left, he uploaded a video saying it was the greatest time of his life!
Whilst others came forward stating that they had a
That is crazy.
great time working with MrBeast.
I've known MrBeast for over 3 years now, and I was helping him with graphics for his channel. I don't even have one experience of him being mean or disgruntled to me in any way. He was always very kind and very nice.
Which was once again echoed by Keemstar.
I talked to one of his employees, and he seemed like he loved working for him, and MrBeast seemed like a really cool, genuine guy.
Things became even worse for Matt after MrBeast had a phone call with Keemstar.
And what MrBeast told me is basically like, when they fired him or whatever, they gave him $10,000 and they got him a job at Sword.
And shortly thereafter,
You're getting mad and you got $10,000 from getting fired. What do you want about?
Matt deleted the tweets and was even brave enough to claim that his Twitter had been hacked. Despite basically being laughed off the internet, Matt Turner continues to upload van life videos, one of which including a pretty weak apology to MrBeast.
If anyone was offended by me saying that that wasn't the best experience, well then I do apologize.
With the whole ordeal being summarized by YouTuber Prison Mate Luke.
What did you gain from it, really? A little bit of clout from the beginning. You destroyed any chance of you having an actual YouTube career, and all of those views went away immediately. And now you're just forever tainted with the fact that you're just the guy that lied about MrBeast.
However, Matt Turner wasn't
crazy.
The only person to try and expose MrBeast before having it backfire terribly. Back in 2018, FlyDoesYT uploaded a video titled My Experience Editing for MrBeast, Worst Week of My Life, in which he'd foolishly accused MrBeast of faking the content before going on to make the bizarre point that MrBeast didn't even appear in the videos.
When you make a YouTube video for your channel, you should, we'll go film your video without you. That's cool, yeah.
The claims were so outrageous that MrBeast himself took to Twitter before stating, "If you think I'm faking my videos, then ask the streamer to whom I gave hundreds of thousands of dollars when they get them.
Damn.
Go and ask somebody who got part of the $500,000 that I gave away this year when they got it. You will not find a person who said I did not give them any money."
That's crazy. MrBeast destroyed you.
These tweets were followed by MrBeast appearing on Drama Alert, where he'd explain the situation from his perspective.
I paid for his plane ticket, his Uber, his hotel for a week, his Uber, and his plane ticket, which he made a 25-minute quote-unquote exposing video on me, but doesn't mention that I spent thousands of dollars getting him here, paid him $750 for like 5 days worth of work, which is really good pay. He has all these issues, quote-unquote, but he doesn't say any of them to me while he's here. He doesn't talk to me while he's here. He just bundles it all up so he can make this 25-minute video and blow everything out of proportion when he gets home.
Before going on to...
That's crazy. Getting exposed like that after you say that
absolutely destroy the claims that his videos were fake.
My videos aren't fake. Like, I counted to 100,000. I watched Dance to Your Dead for, whatever. I give streamers $30,000. It's just slander from his part.
Whilst providing an explanation for why he wasn't able to fully appear in one of the videos.
I have Crohn's disease. Most of you don't know what it is. It was really acting up. So I said, hey, you guys go film the rest of the video. I want to go nap. I got to take it easy. Now he's making an exposed video like, oh, MrBeast doesn't film his own videos. Like, what are you going on about, man? You're trying to pin the fact that I have an illness on me, and like, I'm not public about this type of stuff.
Which once again prompted a former employee to come out stating, as someone who is friends with both MrBeast and Fly, it is my unbiased opinion that Fly is in the wrong. Unlike Matt Turner, Fly has since had a relatively successful career, having built a channel with over 300,000 subscribers, yet he hasn't been nearly as successful opinion, having built a channel with over 300,000 subscribers, yet he hasn't been nearly as successful as Jake the Viking, who's been able to show that a peaceful ending with MrBeast is always the most beneficial path. Jake appeared on the MrBeast channel for the first time back in June 2018, as Jimmy required a strong character to include within the videos.
Can you dip this in the water tank for me? It's really heavy, but you're like a big boy.
At this point in time, the content was often quite physical, and therefore having Jake as a member of the team worked out perfectly. However, by early 2020, the content became less focused on physical challenges, and as a result, Jake began to appear in fewer and fewer videos. He'd be seen one last time in $60,000 Extreme Hide and Seek Challenge, which was followed by a comment to Jake's TikTok 2 months later asking, "Are you still working with..."
I love watching Jake, man. It was a go.
MrBeast, to which he'd respond, lol nah, they fired me. 9 days later, Jake would clarify this comment by uploading a now incredibly viral video titled Why I Left MrBeast, in which he'd explain why he'd been let go.
And it came down to, my piece no longer fit the puzzle, if that's the best way to put it.
Before discussing how he wanted to leave anyway, so he could pursue content creation under his own name.
It was a mutual leaving. I'd already told him multiple times, what I wanted to do was kind of be my own boss, do my own thing. Me and Jimmy did not have any type of falling out, so everything's cool. MrBeast, still love you, bro.
Basically, he got tired of being an employee. He wanted to start his own brand, be his own boss, do his own thing, which is respectable. He didn't want to be just that guy on every MrBeast video. Good luck to you, Viking. Jake's peaceful ending in combination with his unique, recognizable image has helped him to maintain success even after leaving the team, having gained over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and over 2.5 million followers on TikTok. However, Jake the Viking wasn't the only person who eventually ran out of utility on the MrBeast MrBeast team. For example, whatever happened to Ty? He was picked up on the side of the road for his first appearance in the world's largest bowl of cereal video.
You wanna come sit in a pool of cereal for 10K?
And with comments such as, Ty is such a cool guy, he needs to be in more challenges, he was able to return to the channel.
And then this is Ty from the cereal videos. You guys really liked him, so we brought him back.
Appearing in a total of 7 different videos before he'd also disappear. Considering Ty was picked up at random on the side of the street, he was never an official member of the MrBeast crew, yet according to the wiki, Ty still works for MrBeast, but works mostly behind the scenes. Ty has since become a father and still maintains an Instagram following of over 28,000 and a TikTok following of over 80,000, on which he uploads music, comedy, and dancing videos. Tyler Conklin was another MrBeast member who disappeared from the videos without any explanation, and his disappearance is probably the most mysterious of them all. Tyler became the second MrBeast crew member after featuring on the channel for the first time in February 2016, when MrBeast had only 18,000 subscribers. From here, Tyler was featured in videos such as We Are Better Than Dude Perfect, which was followed by Tyler helping out Jimmy's brother, yet Tyler's final obvious appearance on the MrBeast channel was in I Opened a Restaurant That Pays You to Eat At It, where Jimmy jokingly fired him.
Get out of here! He suggested we charge money for the food. Cut! Get out of here! Go! I don't ever want to hear you guys talk about charging again.
While this was obviously just a meme for the video, it actually would become Tyler's final official appearance on the MrBeast channel. Honest question, after you suggested making people pay for the food in the restaurant video and Jimmy kicked you out, you were never in another video again. Did he fire you from being in more videos? Tyler did make a small cameo in Last to Leave the Circle Wins $500,000, as well as the Squid Game video where he apparently featured as one of the guards, and when you combine this information with his Instagram, on which he's often still seen with the crew, it's clear that Tyler hasn't been fired, but is rather working from behind the scenes. Garrett eventually met a similar fate. He was first introduced to the channel back in May 2018 after the team cut his car in half, and from that point onwards he was a semi-regular in the MrBeast videos. In mid-2020, Garrett abandoned the channel to help out MrBeast's brother. However, as Mr. Bro began to upload fewer and fewer videos, Garrett also began to disappear from the internet. According to a reply on his Instagram, Garrett helps with social media stuff now, although he hasn't uploaded a TikTok or Instagram photo with the MrBeast crew in over 2 years, and claims to be studying at the University of Alabama, which is over 2 states away from the MrBeast headquarters in North Carolina. Perhaps Garrett is still working with the crew from a distance, however, it does seem as though their relationship simply ran its course and eventually fizzled out. But what about Jake Weddle? He was another one of these guys who once featured in almost every MrBeast episode before he'd slowly disappear from the channel. Well, only a month after being seen in the I Filled My Brother's House with Slime and Bought Him a New One video, Jake Weddle would upload a piece of content to his personal channel titled Why I Left MrBeast, in which he'd explain that he'd resigned from the team so he could pursue stand-up comedy under his own name.
I found myself kind of, I guess, losing passion for what I was doing. I'm doing stand-up basically full-time now.
Weddle went on to explain that his relationship with MrBeast had ended peacefully.
Me and Jimmy actually left on very good terms.